Systems of Equations project. What is a system of equations and what does it mean? A system of equations is comprised of two or more equations. When solving, you're trying to find where the two equations intersect. So our first type of a solution is one solution. Our equations are 5y plus 2x equals 3 and y equals negative 3x plus 5. So we're going to distribute the 5 to negative 3x plus 5, and we get negative 13x plus 25 equals 3. So then we get to negative 13x equals negative 22, which is x equals 22 over 13. So we're going to take our second equation, y equals negative 3x plus 5, and then we're going to put 22 over 13 in for x. So then we get y equals negative 66 over 13 plus 5. So then we get y equals negative 1 over 13. So we get one solution, which is 22 over 13, comma, negative 1 over 13. Our next type of solution is an infinite solution. So our two equations are 2y equals 4x plus 6 and y equals 2x plus 3. Then we're going to divide 2y equals 4x plus 6 by 2, and we get y equals 2x plus 3. So both equations are the same, which means it's an infinite solution. Our next type of solution is no solution. So our equations are y equals x plus 2 and y equals x plus 4. So if y equals both x plus 2 and x plus 4, we could set them equal to each other. So when we simplify, we get x equals x plus 2, and we know that this statement is false, so that means there is no solution. Checking your solution. So our first equation is y equals x plus 1. Our next equation is 4x plus y equals 6. So we're going to put x plus 1 in for y. So then we get 4x plus x plus 1 equals 6. So then we get to 5x plus 1 equals 6. Then we get to 5x equals 5, and then x equals 1. So then we're going to put in 1 for x in the top equation, and we get y equals 1 plus 1. Then we get to y equals 2. So our answer is 1 comma 2. In order to check our solution, we have to put our answer 1 comma 2 and put that into an equation. So I used the first equation, y equals x plus 1. Then after I plugged in my coordinates, I got 2 equals 1 plus 1, and then I got 2 equals 2. So this means the answer is right. So we could also plug the coordinates into the second equation, and I got 6 equals 6. Elimination method. Our first equation is x plus 2y equals 3, and 3x plus 4y equals 5. So we are going to eliminate y by multiplying by negative 2. So now the equation becomes negative 2x minus 4y equals negative 6. Now we are going to add up the equations. So negative 6 plus 5 equals negative 1. Negative 4y and 4y cancel each other out, and negative 2x plus 3x equals x. So we know that x is negative 1, and we're going to put negative 1 into the first equation. So we get negative 1 plus 2y equals 3. That becomes 2y equals 4, and then y equals 2. So the answer is negative 1 comma 2. For our second problem, we have 2x plus 9y equals 4 and 5x plus 4y equals 5. In this case, we're going to have to multiply both equations by a number. So in the first equation, we're going to multiply by 5 to get 10x plus 45y equals 20. So for the second equation, we're going to multiply by negative 2, and we get negative 10x minus 8y equals negative 10. 20 plus negative 10 equals 10. 45y minus 8y is 37y, and 10x and negative 10x cancels out. 37y equals 10, and then we simplify that to y equals 0.27. Then we're going to take our second equation, and we're going to put 0.27 in for y. After we simplify, we get 0.784 for x. So our answer is 0.784, 0.27. Substitution method. Our first equation is y equals negative 3x plus 2 and 2y plus x equals 5. So we're going to put in negative 3x plus 2 in for y in the second equation, and this is what we get. Then we get to negative 6x plus 4 plus x equals 5. Then we get to negative 5x plus 4 equals 5, and negative 5x equals 1. So x equals negative 1/5. Then we're going to take negative 1/5 and we're going to put that in for x in the first equation. So then we get y equals negative 3 times negative 1/5 plus 2. Then it turns into y equals 3/5 plus 2. And then it becomes y equals 2 and 3/5. So the answer is negative 1/5, 2 and 3/5. In our second problem, the equations are x plus 2 equals y and x plus 5 equals y. So if both x plus 2 and x plus 5 equals y, we could set them equal to each other. Then we get x equals x plus 3. This statement is not true, so there is no solution. Graphing method. So our equations are y equals 2x plus 5 and y equals negative x plus 2. So now we're going to graph both lines. So the point of intersection is your answer. So the answer in this case is negative 1, 3. So for our second problem, we have 5y equals 5x plus 10. In order to graph this, we have to convert it, and it becomes y equals x plus 2. Our second equation is 3y equals negative 9x minus 6. This becomes y equals negative 3x minus 2. Now we have to graph them. So the point of intersection is negative 1, 1. Real world example number 1. Company A charges $2 for every movie watched plus a flat fee of $3. Company B charges $1 for every movie watched plus a flat fee of $4. At what amount of movies watched will both companies' profit be the same? Company A, our equation is y equals 2x plus 3 because it costs $2 to watch a movie and a flat fee of $3. Company B, the equation is y equals x plus 4 because each movie costs $1 to watch plus a flat fee of $4. So now we're going to graph both equations. The point of intersection is at 1, 5. This means that when one movie is watched, the profit will be the same. Both companies will have earned $5. Real world example number 2. Joe and Ryan went to a yard sale. Joe bought 5 board games and 2 books for $10. Ryan bought 2 board games and 6 books for $15. Each board game and book cost the same. How much does a board game cost? How much does a book cost? Let's say x equals the cost of a board game and y equals the cost of a book. So now we can make our equations. For Joe, the equation is 5x plus 2y equals 10. For Ryan, the equation is 2x plus 6y equals 15. So then we're going to multiply 5x plus 2y equals 10 by negative 3. And we get negative 15 minus 6y equals negative 30. Negative 30 plus 15 is negative 15. Negative 6y and 6y cancel each other out. Negative 15x plus 2x equals negative 13x. So we get negative 13x equals negative 15. Then we get x equals 1.15. Then we're going to plug in 1.15 in for x in the top equation. So we get 5 times 1.15 plus 2y equals 10. Then we get 5.75 plus 2y equals 10, 2y equals 4.25, and finally y equals 2.12. This means that each board game costs $1.15 and each book costs $2.12. How to graph an inequality. A college student wants to earn at least $1,000 during his two summer jobs. At his first job, he earns $10 per hour as a waiter. At his second job, he earns $20 as a clerk. First, we need to find the y-intercepts. So 10x plus 20y is greater than or equal to 1,000. 10 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 20y is greater than 1,000. So y is greater than 50. Now we need to find the other intercept. So 10x plus 20 times 0 is greater than 1,000. 20 times 0 is 0. So 10x is greater than 1,000. That becomes x is greater than or equal to 100. In order to graph, we need to plot the coordinates, and then after that, we need to connect them using a line. Then, since it's greater than, we're going to color this whole area, which is greater than the line. This means that all shaded areas are a solution. How to graph a system of inequalities. So our equations are y is greater than or equal to x plus 2, and y is less than a half x minus 1. If the inequality sign is less than or greater than, the line is dashed. If the inequality sign is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, the line is solid. So since it's greater than, we're going to color this side, and then since the second equation is less than, we're going to color this side here at the bottom. Then they both overlap here at this right triangle, so that is our answer. How do you know which method is the best? So here are our equations. We know that the best method to use is the graphing because both equations can easily be graphed without having to change anything. If asked for a visual representation, this is the best way to do it. So our equations are x plus y equals 3 and x equals 5y. The best method to use is the substitution method because the variable x is already isolated. Then you can just plug in 5y for x in the equation x plus y equals 3. So after we solve, we get our answer to be 2.5, 1/2. For our last one, our equations are negative 5y plus 3x equals 10 and 5y plus 9x equals 2. The best method to use is the elimination method because you can easily eliminate negative 5y and 5y. Once you solve, your answer is 1, negative 7/5.